I'm Talon.
I'm TT.
And this is the Nerdy Hour with TNT podcast. We do have a lot to talk about today, mainly focusing around the 6 months before Halloween edition. But before we do that, if you haven't already, be sure to go down there, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and also be sure to hit the bell for notifications.
6 months to Halloween. I was going to do this, but I had that little bit here, so I...
Okay, you told me that. I didn't know you had.
Well, it's okay. We can leave this in. It's kind of funnier now. Because I like the look on your face when I started playing that jingle. We can be a little more human in this thing. It's fine. Okay, continue.
Did you want to read off your spiel?
Oh, that was it. I was just going to say this is April 30th and May 1st is the 6 months to Halloween. That's how much spiel it's going to be. And then I was going to play the song, but you already took care of that for me, so.
Okay, anyway, please hit subscribe, hit the bell icon, and also hit the bell icon. I already said that, but hit the bell icon again so that we get notified every single time we upload.
Off his game.
I'm flustered. But anyway, let's just get started with today's stuff.
So, first off, 2 movies that just came out that are in the horror genre is from the Until Dawn movie that seems to be getting mixed reviews, but isn't actually based on the game. It's its own story.
Yeah, because I've heard a lot of people talk about Until Dawn, the movie. And it seems like it's set in the same universe, and it's set in the same stuff, but completely different from the actual game. Which I at first didn't agree with it, but I thought more of it, and I don't mind it, mainly because the game, it's a choice-based game.
Right.
So if they made a movie off of it, you're going to have to make decisions, and that's going to piss off people no matter what.
And they mocap the game, too. I mean, those are real actors. I mean, the one that played the main guy is played by Robbie Malek. Mm-hmm. And it looks like they look like themselves, so it's just probably easier to...
Yeah, exactly. So, I want to watch it. I want to see what they did with it, but I don't really know. I don't think it's going to be like a classic or anything.
No, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be... For a video game movie, it sounds like it's doing fairly decently, so...
Yeah.
Because usually they don't do very well.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, some of them do.
Very rarely.
Well, I mean, Super Mario Bros., Sonic...
Yeah, those are like the exception. There's a lot of other, like, Prince of Persia. So many others.
I like Prince of Persia.
I did too, but I mean, that's... At the time, that was up in the upper tier, and game fans still kind of hated it.
Gotcha.
So, you know, Sonic is really, I think, is better than Mario, but back to
Sonic has, 3 movies.
Yeah, I mean, it seems more, not just kid-based.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the horror. So, and then another movie that was released on the same day, April 25th, was The Shrouds. It's a David Cronenberg film.
Okay.
Do you know anything about David Cronenberg?
No.
He does a lot of body horror.
Okay.
Like he made, when was it? In 1886, he did the remake of The Fly starring Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis, and if you've ever seen any clips of that,
I have not.
You don't want to.
Okay.
He grosses people out. He's also famous for the movie Scanners and The Brood, which there's a famous scene in The Brood where, don't want to get into details, but someone somehow gives birth to something and then she licks it clean.
Okay.
So, it's a famous horror movie scene. He doesn't do horror movies.
Yeah, I'm not a big horror movie guy.
No, but me and his younger brother, who unfortunately was invited, but he couldn't make it because he's in middle school.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, another movie that's coming out on May 9th is Clown in the Cornfield. Okay. Now, this one, I thought it sounded stupid until I saw it was by the same directors that did some Zombieland, Little Evil. That's a funny movie that's on Netflix.
Yeah.
And his most famous, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil.
Yeah, Tucker and Dale is an amazing movie. I loved it.
Even non-horror fans love Tucker and Dale.
Yeah.
So
It's not even really horror, I would say.
No, it's not, but it's in the horror genre because he's kind of spoofs it. So the Clown in the Cornfield seems to have the same type of comedy as Little Evil and Tucker and Dale. So it looks like a good time.
Okay, that's fair.
So very tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Now May 16th is a big one. That's Final Destination Bloodlines.
I did see the trailer for that, and I saw like someone's septum piercing get like ripped out or something like that.
Yeah, it looks like it's more old school, but the big thing about it is it's Tony Todd's last big screen appearance because he passed away.
Okay.
So if the movie does well or not, Tony Todd is a horror icon.
Gotcha.
He got that status when he played the Candyman.
Okay.
In 1982's The Candyman. It was a short story by Clive Barker.
Gotcha.
And he was in the remake of Night of the Living Dead the year before. I think it's 1990. But so no, but he does lots and lots of voiceover work.
Okay. Gotcha.
So
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that name before.
he's two of the things that he just did recently is he played Venom in the Spider-Man 2 game.
Oh, okay.
And he also played a character in the Indiana Jones, the Golden Circle.
No, it's the Great Circle.
The Great Circle, thank you.
Video game. I actually bought that game recently. It's fun.
See, I was going to buy it, but then I saw it was first person, and I can't play first person. They make me motion sick and give me a migraine, so.
Yeah, but
This close to buying it, I'm like, oh, wait, yeah. So.
Yeah, but it is fun. But
Yeah, he's done tons of voiceover work.
do you know which character you played in that?
I do, but I think it's a surprise villain, so I don't want to say.
Okay.
But if you hear his voice is very recognizable.
Yeah, I do recognize him as Venom, or not recognize him, but I know Venom's voice.
He was also in he voiced I forgot who in the Flash TV series that was on the CW.
Oh, that's TV series. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, one's Barry Allen.
Yep. And he was in all the Final Destination movies but one.
Okay.
And
which one was he not in?
The fourth one. The one with, because, have you ever seen a Final Destination?
Yes.
Okay, Final Destination is weird because you don't go by what number it is, you go by the opening tragedy.
Okay.
So, Final Destination 1 is the airplane one.
Okay.
Final Destination 2 is the one with the log truck. That's a famous movie scene where the logs bounce like rubber balls.
Yes.
Apparently they did use real logs at first, but they couldn't get them to bounce.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, that's fair. It's wood.
Yeah, it's not gonna bounce. Final Destination 3 is the one with the roller coaster. He only did a small voiceover in that one, but he played the voice of the big animatronic devil for the roller coaster ride.
Okay.
4 did not have him at all, and 4 is the most divisive movie. 4 is the one with the NASCAR tragedy when people's heads get like exploded by tires.
Oh, okay.
Final Destination 5 is the one with the collapse of the bridge, and that one had the twist ending, which
Okay.
was that it was actually a prequel to the whole series.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. But for Tony Todd's character, William Bloodworth, is a lot of people believe his character is somehow involved. Either he's trying to protect people, or he's the devil, or he is death.
Okay.
But this movie seems to be answering the questions going by the trailers, so.
Okay.
But if it sucks or not, I think the movie's going to do well just because it's his last big on-screen appearance.
Yeah.
So that usually happens with icons.
Yeah, makes sense.
So.
I'll probably go see it at some point.
Yeah, it looks like fun. It looks like it's more horror-based than comedy. They seem to go back and forth between completely ridiculous and kind of scary. So this one, like, it might go back to the more scary one.
Yeah.
More back to its almost X-Files roots.
Yeah.
I'm sure most Final Destination fans know this, but the original movie was originally X-Files episode.
Yeah.
So that's why they have the Mulder and Scully type character in there.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So if you've seen the movies, which is your favorite death?
I've only seen like one.
You've only seen one of them? Okay.
Maybe two, but I'll have to say like probably the most iconic one is the logs.
Yeah.
Because now whenever I drive and I'm behind like a log truck,
Everyone's scared of log trucks.
I immediately move to the left lane. I'm like, yeah, hell no.
Yeah, I think that one affected. I think the funniest one though is the teacher from the first movie. It shouldn't be funny, but it is like a comedy of errors. Like she spills her drink and the computer starts shorting out, the screen blows out, glass goes into her neck. She stumbles in the kitchen and fire starts, and then she pulls the knives on herself as she's dying on the ground. I mean, it's just, it shouldn't be funny, but it is.
Yeah.
Okay. On June 28th is a kind of a legacy sequel. It's on June 20th, yeah. 28 years later.
Okay.
It's now a trilogy from 28 Days that came out in 2002 to 28 Weeks later in 2007. So they're in the zombie genre. I saw the trailer and it actually looks like this might give the zombie genre the boost it needs because zombies are getting really boring.
Yeah, that's fair.
So this looks like a really fun, interesting.
Well, I mean, like, zombie, like, I mean, I guess, like, one of the only things that are keeping zombies interesting is, like, the Last of Us series.
Yeah.
Because obviously everyone loves that video game, and they're like, one of the main things keeping the intrigue in zombies, like, afloat.
Right.
And The Walking Dead are, like,
Yeah.
the top two of, like, you know, keeping zombies
Right.
relevant, I guess.
Right, and movies have been kind of lackluster, but this looks like a really interesting movie. The trailer, I think, gave a little too much away, but there's just, seems like these people are living in an island isolated, that the zombies are kept away. But it ends with, the trailer gave too much away, but I'm going to say this anyway, so if you don't want to hear about the trailer, skip a few seconds, that some crazy priest thinks everyone should die, so he brings zombies onto the island.
Gotcha.
So they start infecting the one group of survivors that they're following for the movie.
Gotcha.
So, and then here is another one, May 30th. It's called Bring Her Back. It's an Australian horror film, but it's from the same directors that made Talk to Me.
Okay.
Did you happen to see Talk to Me?
No.
The one where they grab the hand and talk to ghosts. No.
Oh, why does that sound familiar?
Because it was a movie that came out a couple years ago. Very popular.
If it came out a couple years ago, then I probably haven't watched it.
Okay.
Because most of my horror movie knowledge comes from my mom and you. So.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was hoping he might engage more. I'm going to be done with this list quick. But if we're done with the list quick, then we can talk about Supermassive Game and their horror games, because all the games they make are horror-based.
Gotcha.
A fun one that's coming out is Megan 2.0. That's coming out on June 27th.
I haven't seen the first Megan.
You haven't seen the first Megan. You have to see the first Megan.
Isn't it just kind of like Annabelle?
No.
Okay.
Now, it's kind of like Chucky mixed with Annabelle, I guess. Except a real person plays Megan. There's this, well, she's not a little girl anymore, but in the movie she's a little girl, and she just moves odd when she does her dance moves. Like the part where she's crawling after the boy, and then rips his ear off. Fun scene. But the sequel has the same cast, which is nice, because then the same actress is playing Megan. And the trailer explains why she's taller. But it looks like it's going more the Aliens and T2 route. Because both Terminator and the first movie, Alien, were more horror-based. Like, Alien is actually an old dark house horror. It came out before slashers were a thing. And this thing is picking off people one by one. It's an old genre of horror movies that came out, I think, in the 30s and 40s. So about people in a house that get picked up one by something they can't see.
Gotcha.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to see the first Megan.
What?
Like, it's like, when is Megan 2.0 come out?
It is coming out, when is it? June 27th.
Yeah, I've wanted to see that for a while, mainly because my brother begs me to watch it.
It's a fun movie. Like I said, it's got some horror elements. Like I said, Alien was very much a horror movie. The tagline was, "In space, no one can hear you scream."
Yeah.
And they advertise it that way. The first Terminator is an action movie, but it's got a lot more horror elements. Where Terminator 2 is almost straight up action.
Gotcha. That's fair.
So fun fact about Terminator 2 is when the T-2000 copies people, those are actually twins.
Oh, okay.
So when you see the guard looking at himself, that's his identical twin brother. The same thing with Linda Hamilton. When you see two of her, when he pretends to be her, that's her twin sister.
Oh, that's cool.
So.
I didn't know that.
Useless little factoid. Another Legacy sequel that's coming out is I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I did see that one.
Right, the which was also called I Know What You Did Last Summer in 1997.
Yeah.
Horror movies have to stop doing that.
What?
They always name their sequel after the original one. Scream, Halloween,
Yeah.
or they add a the, like Final Destination 5 is not, no tagline, no number, it's just called the Final Destination. Final Destination. It's like,
Yeah.
stop doing that. Just give it its own
Yeah.
title. Otherwise, you're gonna have to start putting like Halloween '79 and Halloween 2018, so people know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, I don't get why, like, movie
Scream did it
companies,
too.
like, try to, be so different when they can literally just go, like, Scream 1, Scream 2,
Right.
Scream 3, instead of being like, like, Scream 2007, Scream 1472, and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
you
I know. And then renaming the movie after the first one, or just changing it, like the Blair Witch Project and Blair Witch Project. One of them came out. I don't remember which one's first, but you always have to differentiate now because
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God, stop
It
doing it.
makes it a lot harder to, like, talk about it.
Yeah, it's like just call it Halloween something. I don't know, just not Resurrection. That sucked.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that got the original cast, and it's got Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. both are in it, and it seems to be doing with another bunch of kids that killed someone that they shouldn't have, and now they're getting threatened again.
So it's pretty much kind of like the presence of the first movie.
Yeah, except they have the original characters in there too, probably just to get people to see it.
So is there like nothing different? Or like no like plot that's different?
The plot sounds like it's a different group of young kids. I don't know if they're college age or teenagers, so.
Okay.
But they're in that age bracket. So they do what they did. They hit someone on the road. They try to hide it and lie about it. And then someone's coming back and threatening them. And the Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. are reprising their roles for some reason, which doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah.
But the odd thing is that it's actually based on a book that came out in 1973.
It's based on a book?
Mm-hmm. By Louise Duncan.
Like, was it like the first, or blah, 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 blah. Did the first one, was that one based on a book, or is it the second one based on?
The first one. Because there's actually, this is the fourth one in the series. There's the first two which are connected together. There's a third one that was straight to video that no one talks about.
Okay.
It was bad and then it turned supernatural. So that one I'm sure is going to be ignored. So this one will be the third in the trilogy.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it was based on a book. 1973. It's got some elements the same, some are really different. The author was not happy with the way the movie had so much death in it.
Oh, really?
Right, but apparently, her daughter was murdered in the late 80s,
Oh, really?
and her murder wasn't solved until shortly before the movie came out. So she was a little sensitive at the time.
That's
She didn't like seeing
great.
young people being murdered, obviously.
Yeah, that's fair.
But the basic plot is the same, except in the book, it's a child they kill. So,
So in the book, they kill a child?
yeah, they hit a kid. He was riding his bike late at night, and they didn't kill him on purpose, obviously, but
That's what they say.
they hit, yeah, they hit and run. But apparently, the book was a really big deal at the time because it was an allegory for what the soldiers were coming home with after Vietnam.
Okay.
Because mental health was not a thing until very recently.
Yeah.
So two characters in the book are pulling away from society because they feel so bad and so guilty they can't really take the pressure, and another two are just saying, it happened, I don't care, I'm more important. So kind of how some soldiers acted when they got back, some feeling so awful, and some just saying, I gotta get past it and ignore it.
Gotcha. Kind of like pushing it down almost.
Yeah, so it was kind of an allegory for that. And believe it or not, Chi had that book.
Really?
Yeah. She had it in her bedroom, she read I Know What You Did Last Summer.
That's crazy. Like, honestly,
Chi is his great-grandma.
the title, I Know What You Did Last Summer, I don't know why, but it sounds like it would be a romance novel.
It could be.
Like a cheesy, like, romance, like, like,
Yeah,
I don't know,
so-
about someone, like, she found out that her boyfriend cheated on her last summer or something like that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. But so, yeah. So Gigi read that book, and apparently she said she didn't like the movie.
Oh, okay.
So she liked the book more. Believe it or not,
That's
your Gigi had a really good memory when it came to things like that.
Yeah.
So, and then another movie that's coming out on August 8th is Weapons.
Weapons?
Yes, it's by the same director that made Barbarian.
Barbarian?
Yeah. Any horror fan, if you know Barbarian, that movie is WTF, the entire movie. Like this. Like it or hate it, you're just like, what the entire movie. A few people say it's not, but most people are like, yeah, I hated it, but that movie just throws every expectation you have out the window, and you're just sort of like horrified.
Like in what way?
Spoilers, it's like every horror trope you know, they turn on their head. Like the person you think you're supposed to trust, you're not supposed to trust. Like the actors they get in it. So this is going to be spoilers for Barbarian. So at the beginning of the movie, there's a mix-up with, what's that called when you sleep in someone's house?
Squatter?
No, Talon, the company.
Airbnb?
Thank you, I forgot it. But there was a mix-up with the Airbnb, and she ended up having to share it for the night with someone else because it was double booked. And the actor playing that character is the actor that played Pennywise and a whole bunch of other horror villains.
Gotcha.
So automatically, as an audience, you don't trust him because he usually plays a bad guy. And he is kind of creepy at the beginning. Right, and you also meet this character that's played by Justin Long. And he always plays a sweet guy, you always can trust him. But during the movie, Justin Long ends up being a complete ass.
Right.
And the boy that played Pennywise is the one that you should have trusted, even though he was kind of creepy at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
But then he dies like really shortly into it because he gets his head bashed into a wall.
Huh.
And then the movie also ruined the song "Be My Baby."
Okay.
But for Weapons, I was told, me and your mom actually watched that together for one of our horror movie nights.
Okay.
But for Weapons, they said the same thing for Barbarian, that you should go in 100% blind. So I'm not looking anything up on Weapons once I heard it was directed by that person. I'm just going to wait till it comes out on video again, and then me and your mom can watch it and know nothing about it.
Okay.
So, sounds like the best way to watch his movies.
Yeah. That's fair. Like, honestly, that's kind of the best way to watch any movie.
Right, but for this movie, it's really important, because otherwise it's going to be,
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what that is. Okay. On August 29th, believe it or not, they are remaking, or rebooting the film The Toxic Avenger.
Is it an MCU movie?
No, it's a film by Troma. Troma does not make the cleanest or kindest films. Lots of gross out stuff, blood, guts, killing kids. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
There's a famous scene in The Toxic Avenger where a kid's head gets crushed and blood goes squirting like a watermelon.
Okay.
And here's the funny part, because it was the 80s and the 90s, that was turned into a Saturday morning cartoon that lasted for like 2 seasons.
Yeah, that sounds like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. So, and then there's 2 honorable mentions coming out, because these ones I believe aren't coming out in theaters. Or maybe one of them might be, I don't know. But it's Netflix is making another Fear Street. It's called Prom Queen. That's going to come out on May 23rd. So if you like the first Fear Streets, I heard this one's going to be really good. So.
What exactly is Fear Streets?
Fear Street movies are kind of based on those R.L. Stine books from the 90s.
Okay.
Because that one, Goosebumps, Fear Street, and then some of us moved on to Christopher Pike for a short time.
Actually, I think I remember. Was Fear Street like books as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
90s books. They were the ones that came after Goosebumps.
That's what, because I think I read a couple. Like, I'm pretty sure I went to my school's library, and they didn't have any Goosebumps books, but they ran out of them, and they had
like the Fear Street.
Like a few Fear Street books.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I read one or two.
Yeah, they're,
I'm sure they're written in the same way though, right?
Pretty much.
Or similar, I should say.
Yeah, they're a little slightly different and deal with a few different themes, like high school stuff. Like I said, this is called Prom Queen. Yeah. But basically, they're the same type of easy schlock that are just fun to read.
Yeah. Honestly, I still like to go back and read that Goosebumps book.
Oh yeah, I love the Goosebumps Choose Your Own Adventure.
Oh yeah, I love those so much.
Yeah.
Honestly, that might be the inspiration for every single choice-based video game.
I would hope not, because a lot of those you ended up dead.
That's fair. But still.
Or somehow, I don't know, they were just so... I don't think he could write Goosebumps anymore without parents pitching a fit.
Yeah.
Because, oh, my kitty's crying.
Yeah.
The other honorable mention is Together. It's coming out on August 1st. It's a debut film made by Michael Shanks, and it premiered at the Sundance Midnight Selection back in January.
Okay.
So, don't know, because all we know about audiences seem to enjoy it. Apparently there is a fair amount of gore, and it's fairly scary.
Okay.
And that's all I know about it.
So there's no information on it, other like no trailer or nothing?
Not yet, no. So, but like I said, it's Sundance, so it's, like I said, it's this person's first movie, so.
Oh, so it's their debut film?
Mm-hmm.
Have they done any work, like, at all? Like even been, like,
I
a
don't know.
graphics design editor on the film or something?
I don't think so. I don't know, because like I said, it premiered at Sundance, and that's something for new up-and-coming filmmakers to showcase what they can make.
Gotcha.
So what I forgot to say, though, about The Toxic Avenger was that it did premiere... Interesting movies, okay, what did it say? It actually premiered at Fantastic Fest in 2023, and then it disappeared for years until now. So people have seen this remake of Toxic Avenger.
Okay.
Apparently Peter Dinklage is playing Toxie. That's what the guy's name is.
His name's Toxie?
Well, that's what it was in the cartoon.
That's like some AI-generated, like, name selector.
Oh, it was made, they took basically an almost X-rated movie and turned it into a cartoon for kids. It's Trauma. I mean, Trauma makes trauma movies. I think they make, what do they make now? Like, I think they make the Gingerbread and like these weird ass Bong movies or something.
Gingerbread?
The Ginger Dead Man.
Okay. You know what, I won't ask
I
questions.
think the first Gingerbread Dead Man was a real movie. Because it had Gary Busey in it, well, real movie. But, yeah, and then they just got weird, and Trauma just makes movies that are very Trauma.
Okay.
Anyone that knows Trauma knows what I mean.
Yeah. They sound disgusting.
They are disgusting, and that's why people love them, if you're a fan of their films, so.
Yeah. Anyone who watches that is a sicko.
Yes, like most horror movies.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of Trauma, but I can see the appeal. But that's as far as I got. There's several. I'm hoping to do another one in August to finish off the year. Because there are a lot more horror movies coming out. It's a good year for horror movies.
Okay.
Really good year, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that all you have?
Yeah, because I thought we could do it this longer. It took me like 2 hours, 3 hours to research all of this and write it down. I have all these facts I didn't even mention on here. So.
Well, we should have mentioned them.
Yeah, but, you know. Like stuff about scanners and aliens and, you know, but that's okay. You don't know horror, so it's hard to.
I tried.
I know. This is why I was going to have your brother on, but he's in school, so.
Yeah.
I had planned, I didn't research it, but I don't think we need to, is discuss the horror games that Supermassive Games makes. Because they make, all their games so far have basically been horror based.
Do you want me to look it up?
No, I know this. I have played their Tire Dark Pictures Anthology and The Quarry. I know you got me Until Dawn, but I have not played that yet.
Okay, yeah, I highly recommend you should, because it is a good game. I love Until Dawn. Like, I started playing, or not started playing, I'm in the middle of playing Dark Pictures Anthology. It's the one with, like, the Holmes, or not
Oh,
Holmes.
the last one they made.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the...
H.H. Holmes one.
Yeah, Holmes.
Yeah, that one is... I love that one. At the same time, it's got a lot of issues, but...
Like, story-wise, or gameplay-wise?
Common sense-wise. Because you have to let it go because it's a video game.
Yeah.
So, like, when you're alone with the killer and he's coming at you with a knife, you know, he's a bigger guy. And you can run from him, or if the two of the girls are running because they're fairly tiny and he could, you know, easily tackle them. But when they're all together in a group, it's like, there's like 5 of you. If you have that many left, it's like, just tackle them.
Well, I mean, if you all think about it this way, though, they're scared out of their minds and they're not thinking rationally.
No, but still, I mean, you would think, you know, together in a group, it's like, dude, you're the same height and weight as him. He's an old crazy guy. Well, I don't know how old he is. But it doesn't matter, because I don't want to spoil the ending, but like I say, I do love the curator.
I have not played all the way through it because there's this part I have to do that I know is gonna scare the ever living hell out of me, and so I am putting off doing it because I'm like I know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna get jump scared out of this room, and then like I'm never going to play this again. So I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. How much do you know about the real H.H. Holmes? Because he was
well, I know that he was like the first documented serial killer
in this country.
In this country,
yeah. In the U.S.
In the U.S.
Yeah, because the hotel he did build was real.
Yeah, I did know that. Like, and I'm pretty sure he's the guy that like Jack the Ripper took inspiration from.
No, opposite.
What was it, opposite?
But I don't think that's true, debate-wise, because Jack the Ripper had an M.O. He killed a lot of people. He had a type of person he liked to kill.
Which was pretty much prostitutes.
Right, but H.H. Holmes didn't care. He didn't care how he killed them. And your mom made me watch a documentary on this man. So, I don't remember what they said was wrong with him, but he didn't have emotions. So, like in the court case, he saw family members crying about their lost loved ones and he didn't react. The next day he came into court, and according to court records, he started crying for no reason. So it's like he didn't have human emotions. Apparently he also had like 3 wives in 3 different states and kids, and never hurt them. And yet he was a friend of this family for years and then killed them all one day.
Yeah.
So it's like
crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Like I said, there is that thing where people don't have emotions, where they don't connect. So.
Yeah.
But he didn't have an M.O. So, because he didn't care how they died. Well.
Yeah.
He liked watching them die, so I suppose he kind of cared, but you know.
He didn't care what type of person he killed.
No, he didn't matter to him. He'd kill anybody. Like I said, friends. Some people he wouldn't kill, some he would.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like I really like their games. I want to play more of them, especially like because I'm pretty sure another one popped up on the PS Plus, like so I can get it for free.
I think it might be the Quarry.
It might be that. I'm not.
I like the Quarry.
I know you've wanted me to play for a long time. I just have not gotten around to it.
No, that one. Cause, well, it does have horror icons in there. David Arquette's a character in there, and so is Lynn Shay. And oh, they have another one too. I forgot his name. Lance Hendrickson, I think, is in it. Is he in it?
Sure.
He might be. So he was
Yeah,
in the Pumpkinhead movies.
Pumpkinhead?
Yeah.
That's a movie?
Yes, it is. Several, actually.
Pumpkinhead.
Yes.
It's a movie.
Yes, it is.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's kind of like the beginning of I Know What You Did Last Summer, where you get to see this single dad with a sweet little boy. Some kids hit him, and the kid's head kind of goes squishy. And then the dad picks up the kid's dead body, goes running off, and goes to a swamp witch, and he calls Pumpkinhead to kill all the kids that murdered his son. But as the thing is with Pumpkinhead, as Pumpkinhead is torturing and killing these kids, the dad is getting the visions of these kids dying. So he ends up saving a couple of them at the end because he just can't take watching them die anymore.
Okay.
And there's several sequels.
Well, now I know.
Yeah.
I never watched Pumpkinhead.
The first one's not bad.
How could you make a sequel off of that?
Well, they just keep reviving Pumpkinhead. Other people have different things and they revive them. But I think the sequel, I don't know. I know eventually they start bringing Lance Henriksen back because everyone likes him. So you did Lance Henriksen. You don't know who he is, right?
No.
You played Detroit Become Human?
Yes.
The old man in the wheelchair?
Oh, yes.
That's Lance Henriksen.
Okay.
So, funny thing is, I believe he played an android in Aliens, one of the Aliens, I think. Remember, it was Alien.
You know, speaking of Detroit Become Human, I want them to make a sequel. I know the likelihood is not great because of the way the game ends and the choices and yada yada, but I think it would be cool if maybe each person got their own game, and then you play the entire game as them, like before the events of Detroit Become Human.
Yeah, well, I think one thing they missed in Detroit Become Human was a person getting attached to their android. Because people do get attached to their...
Well, I mean, there was Kara.
Right,
Oh, I mean, not Kara, Alice? Is that her name? The kid?
Right, but I mean, that's the android getting attached to what you thought was a human. I'm talking a human that's attached to the android. and tries to save this emotionless android the whole time because they haven't gotten feelings yet. Because I don't think so many people
Well,
would.
I mean the old man kind of.
Kind of, but that is the most as you got. It's been, I'm gonna follow a group like that, like a partnership, where you're
Yeah.
following the person trying to save their android and they don't seem to care because they haven't been woken up yet.
I mean, again, that's kind of like with, not Marcus. What's the other guy's name?
Yeah.
The police officer.
Right, but he's antagonistic to him at first. I mean, from the beginning, this person cares about the android and travels with him. And the android.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's really specific, though.
Right, but a lot of people are, because you know how I have my eyeball, my little.
Yeah.
People were so scared that if Sony stopped producing them or stopped updating them, that the dog would die. So they had to reassure people that even without the SIM card in them to keep them updated, that their dog would not die. And also, if something happens to the body of your dog, that its personality is still in the cloud. So, I mean, people get attached to their Tamagotchi.
Yeah.
So I just wish you could see that, where the android's like, just let me go. And they're like, no. So it's just been an interesting group to follow.
I started replaying Detroit Become Human recently. And as you know the story, like, as you like, beaten the game already, you can pick up on foreshadowing in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Like, again, spoiler for Detroit Become Human. But, like, in the beginning, like, really right away when you play his car and you're cleaning up the house and stuff, like, you can see, like, before you pick it up, there are papers on the ground, before you pick it up, you can see it's a picture of Alice in an android outfit. Or like...
On top of the magazine.
Yeah.
And it's all blurry, and you see her think, and then she, like, blocks it right away.
Yeah, and then, yeah, so it's just like...
Yeah, there's little things like that. And apparently, the more Connors that die, and he goes talks to that Amanda person, you know?
Yeah.
And you can walk by this little area, and for every Connor that dies, there's a gravestone.
Oh, really? That's cool.
So.
Yeah, like, I had my dad play it, and he turned... He had, because you know how, like, Connor can join up with Marcus? He had, Marcus not trust Connor, so Marcus shot Connor.
Oh, no.
So then there was this big, epic fight between Marcus and Connor, which honestly was kind of epic, but also kind of sad at the same time.
Yeah.
Because you love both characters.
Because, you know, I forgot her name, but the android at the beginning of the game that talks to you.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about, but yeah.
Right, but here's another thing they didn't think about, because they didn't realize people got attached. So there's a part where she's like, can you let me go?
Oh, yeah, you have to beat the game that happened.
Right, but the first time you did that, people panicked because they thought she'd come back. If she didn't come back for the rest of the game, they figured if they restarted it, that she'd be back. But she was gone forever. So people were upset, like really upset, because like, we miss her, we want her back. The creators of the game didn't think that would happen, that everyone would get so attached to her. Of course they'd let her go because they care about her, but they'd also want her to come back, at least for the next playthrough.
Yeah.
So they had to go back and patch that and said, okay, you can have her back. We're sorry, we didn't realize you would actually like her that much.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what I mean about people being attached to him, is they didn't consider that side of it.
Yeah.
But they're not going to make a sequel to that, because they've been working on this one Star Wars game since that game came out.
Yeah.
And it's still go. Apparently it's going to have 9 characters you follow in the Star Wars universe, so.
Yeah, I don't know why, I love story games that allow you to change the outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that you can have, like, 1,500 different endings, you know? Like, Detroit Become Human, Life is Strange, like, Bloom and Rage, like, different games like that just are so fun.
But you need to play the game that kind of started it all.
I don't want to.
Oh, you don't want to play Indigo Prophecies?
I do not do well with going back to old PS2 games.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of hard, but the story is,
I'm sure I could find it in the PlayStation Store if I looked.
Oh yeah, it's like $5.
Yeah, but, like, I don't know if I could, it would be so jarring, and I wouldn't like the controls, and it would just be like, because some PS2 games I can play, but, like,
the controls aren't too bad.
Well, I'm just saying, it's like, different than nowadays.
Yeah, but it's like the first of its kind, so it's not as polished. I think it's a game that could use a good remake, because then the controls would be better, how you get the outcomes would be better, because the story is really interesting. It's about the end of the world, and this all this weird stuff is happening,
Yeah.
and then you're also playing against yourself in certain parts.
Okay.
So that's kind of, like I said, they need to fix that, because somehow the main character you start with, somehow blacked out and he ended up killing somebody. So then you have all these choices where you can clean everything up or you can forget clues. But then you come in as the police detective and it's like you can look in the spots you hid the knife. So it's like the first time you play it you don't know this, so it works better the first time. But after that it's like, it says I can look in the toilet tank for the knife, but it's like, it doesn't say that exactly, but it's like you can look here, but it's like I know the knife is there. And I don't want that outcome, so.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like I said, it can use a good remake because the story is fairly interesting.
Yeah. Another good story game is Heavy Rain.
See, that one I didn't like.
Why?
The twist. Did you finish it?
No.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure I already know the twist where like the guy is the origami killer.
The police guy that you're playing as most of the game? Yeah, it's like, what the hell is wrong with you? Because it doesn't even make sense.
Well, that's actually the biggest,
If you play,
that's the biggest controversial part of the game, because the rest of the game is awesome.
yeah, it is, but you get to that part and it almost ruins the whole game, because it's like, so then he was investigating murders he caused. And it's not like he even blacked out when he killed his people. He did it intentionally, and it's like,
Well, he could have been investigating to hide his cover.
right, I know, but it's like, here, I'm going to talk to you about this, and then I'm going to kill you and come back next scene. It's like, so it kind of spoils the rest of the game.
Yeah. I will say, like, it has one of the most meme-worthy audios ever
Jason!
in gaming history, yeah. Jason!
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I was searching for Jason, I literally just kept saying absolutely funny, like, Jason, 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 Jason. Like, I would repeat. It was so funny.
Yeah. But I like, there is different endings you can get for that game, too.
Yeah,
I play it, and I've also played Beyond Two Souls. I played that a few years back. It took me forever to play it.
I want to play that because that's another game I got recommended. How good? Is it good?
Yeah, it is good.
Is the story good?
The story's not my favorite story, but it's not bad.
Okay.
So it's also an older game. Like I said, I like Indigo Prophecies. It's nostalgic for me.
I literally played the first 5 seconds of it, but I had to go do something.
So
I loaded it up.
It's okay. I like the story. It's very interesting. But my favorite game of theirs is by far Detroit Become Human.
Yeah, Detroit Become Human is awesome.
I also
have you played oh my god, I'm forgetting what that game's called. It's like Creation. No, it's like that with like that girl with the orange hair. It's like has a red logo.
I do not know, but
I gotta search it up now.
okay. We're supposed to be discussing horror games for Halloween, 6 months to Halloween, but I'll just discuss. I like the Quarry, but so because I wanted to discuss with you who's your favorite host for the Supermassive Games, or person at the beginning that talks you through it and checks in with you.
Can I say one time?
In Supermassive Games, they said they have the counselor for Until Dawn, right?
Yeah.
In the Quarry, it's the tarot card lady.
And then
in the Dark Anthology, it's the curator.
Yeah.
Now, I played the Dark Anthology. I played like 3 of them before I played the Quarry, so I got really attached to the curator. And I have not played Until Dawn yet.
You definitely should. I will say.
But I'm just wondering, out of the 2 you played, who's your favorite?
I personally like The Therapist, and here's why. I like The Therapist because, this isn't really a spoiler, but throughout the time, like throughout the game, you see the therapist office getting more and more destroyed, like more and more ransacked.
Okay.
As time goes on. And also, he seems like he's going crazy with the player.
Okay.
Which is a really nice detail, and I love that he's not just a person, who's there just to be there. Like he has his own kind of like little mini storyline.
Well, the curator's getting one too. If you play all the games.
Yeah.
There is a storyline with him, and then he'll comment. I mean, if you come back and play it again, he's like, Oh, last time you played this, everyone died, or why are you back? Last time you saved everyone. You just like this so much. So he comments on your past actions.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun. And plus, he actually will appear in the games. He's hard to spot. I spotted him once. But a lot of
Where was
times,
he?
I forgot which game it was, but a lot of times you'll see him somewhere if someone's about to die.
Okay.
If someone has a chance of dying, sometimes you'll see him like in the background or a shadow or something. I forgot which, because I read that and I was looking for it, and I forgot which game it was because I played them all. But I did see him for a split second.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah. Like.
I kind of want to spoil the ending of the H.H. Holmes one.
Please don't.
It's a blink and you'll miss it moment.
I'll tell you once I finish the game, and then you can tell me if I missed it.
Okay. But there's something that happens that makes the curator more involved than you think he is. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
Something really small, and it's like, wait a minute. I think he comments on it too. But he's more involved than he says.
Okay.
And I want to know what his purpose is, because he's like, I can't get involved. I collect stories. So it's like, is he the devil? Is he an angel? Is he neither? And just keeps the balance.
He's higher than an angel, or lower than a devil.
I hope not, because those things exist.
Yeah.
You don't want things higher than angels or lower than devils. But yeah.
By the way, one more thing.
Also, I have to say the next game, because it's the season 2 is supposed to come out soon, and the first one takes place in space.
That's fair.
Because if you look for the pictures,
Yeah.
always one of the pictures you find will be a hint to the next game.
Yeah, you told me that before, yeah.
Just tell me, audience.
And was there one to space?
There's one in space. The next one is going to be.
I mean, like, was there a picture?
Yeah, you saw someone. I can't remember what it was, but you could tell they were on space, like a futuristic spaceship of some sort. So.
Nice.
And then at the end of the game, as the curator's packing up, you can see the room start to change to something different, and the door change. So.
I will say also one more thing I wanted to say. So, this is kind of horror-y. This is Supernatural, okay?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Obviously, I've been a big fan of Supernatural. I'm going to Supernatural convention in September.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Are you still taking your mom?
Yes.
Yeah, that's his mom's birthday present.
Yeah.
She loves Jensen Ackles and has since she was 12.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm going for. But there has been more and more rumors about a possible season 16 happening.
I heard that.
There are, because now that Jared, Jensen, and Misha are all showing up on The Boys,
Mm-hmm.
that's is like the greatest chance. Like, this is the best chance you've had for them to actually be together and talk about it.
Right.
Especially with Eric Kripke there, because Eric Kripke is the showrunner of The Boys.
Okay.
Actually, speaking of that, did you know that he only did the first 5 seasons of Supernatural?
Uh-huh.
Which is mind blowing. And he also died in the series.
I heard that. I heard because I got mad at I still watched it, but I got upset at Supernatural because they didn't use Lil to her full potential. And your mom's like, well, that was the storyline Eric Kripke was working on. So it's why they killed her off so unceremoniously, is because she, yeah. If you know the lore about Lilith, she was Adam's first wife.
Yeah.
And she left him in the Garden of Eden because she did not want to be submissive.
Yeah.
So her just simply being killed off that easy, it's like now she would have not listened to God or Lucifer. She just would have been. So I kind of wish they would have used her more, but it's because Eric Kripke left. So
Yeah.
hopefully he can.
Which is fair, because like apparently it was only Eric Kripke said in an interview that it was only supposed to last 5 seasons, and the series was supposed to end with Sam and Adam being dragged to hell and Dean having to live on without them. That's how it was supposed to end after season 5, which is how season 5 ended.
Okay.
But like people wanted more, so they kept on doing more because people wanted it. It's not like they were forcing it when no one wanted it. People wanted more.
Yeah, I can see him wanting. Smallville was only supposed to last 3 seasons.
What was that?
Smallville.
Oh yeah.
When the original plan, it was just supposed to be his years in high school, and it was supposed to stop when he went off to college to become a journalist.
Yeah.
But obviously that also lasted 10 years.
Yeah.
So that didn't become the case, and Clark became very stupid in that show. Like, really dumb. Even apparently, the actor that played him would go around under his breath saying Clark was so stupid. Why is he so stupid?
That's fair.
So,
But yeah, I really want them to do season 16.
I do too. It'd be fun if Eric Kripke came back.
Yeah,
He, he also worked in X-Files.
Yeah, I just don't know how. Like, obviously, I'm not saying it's gonna be bad or anything, but I just don't know how it would look because we have been so accustomed to someone else doing it for so long with Supernatural.
I think for the original fans, it would be a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
There is a big divide between the fans that started with the horror elements to the people that got really into it during the angel and demon things. So I think the people that started with the show and watched it for the horror would be relieved maybe get back to them hunting things, saving people, hunting things, family business, instead of angels and demons. And I bet I kind of started rewatching.
But wait, I saw a video recently of like, being like, how Dean and Sam used to be, and then it was like Dean in like season 3, being like, the demons, man, those are like a whole other level of freak. And then fast forward to like season 11, where Lucifer is in like one of the rooms blasting music like a depressed teen, and then there's like, hey, come on, Lucifer, get out there, you gotta, reconcile with God. It's just like the comparison between the early and later.
I'm sorry, I have a Tamagotchi, and I forgot to pick her up from the sitter, and the sitter's yelling at me because she's crying. Oh. They only can be babysat until 6 o'clock, okay. And it's almost 7.
Well, they better make it happy.
Oh, luckily she's not that unhappy, thank God. Okay, she's okay for now.
But yeah, anything else you wanted to talk about? Anything else just in your mind?
Well, all things horror. Except there's another Conjuring movie coming out this year that looks.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen that yet. Like I said, we're doing several more horror movies. I think the next one, and we might cover January, because January usually has the cheap-ass Blumhouse movie that comes out, because January is known for the dumping grounds for movies they think they're going to fail. And Blumhouse puts out a movie that they make dirt cheap that they know they're going to make money off of.
Yeah, I would say one of Blumhouse's best movies is definitely Five Nights at Freddy's, and most successful movies.
Well, depends on how you look at it. Believe it or not, Get Out's probably their most successful.
What's Get Out?
One of the most famous movies ever. I
think that doesn't answer my question.
It's about the movie where they kidnap usually they go after black people. They get this guy there, and then they sell off their bodies so they can put new human souls into them or something.
Sounds crazy.
It's actually because that movie just cost less than, I can't think it was only like $3 or $5 million to make, and it made like $300 or $400 million at the box office.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So things like it's hard to say success for a movie because
I think what I mean by that is just that like, because of the Five Nights at Freddy's, like, it's such a huge fan base. Like they're like one of like the biggest loyal fan bases, I should say. And like actually getting a movie made in their vision, because like the movie was made for Five Nights at Freddy's. It wasn't made for horror fans. It was made for Five Nights at Freddy's fans. And that's why I can't wait for the second one, which actually comes out in November this year, I think. Maybe October, I don't know entirely.
But Blumhouse makes a lot of movies, and I just can't picture Freddy's being. They make so many horror movies. Some of them, they can go anywhere from god awful to just amazing.
Yeah, so it's like kind of like Russian roulette.
It might be the most recognizable franchise they made, but they also made the Megan movies.
Okay.
I mean, they do a lot of horror movies, so like I said, it might be the most recognizable franchise they've ever worked with. I would say for sure, but some of their other horror movies, I mean.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But anything else you need to talk about?
No. Halfway to Halloween, so Halloween's my favorite season.
Season? Not holiday season?
Season.
Okay.
Once September hits, halfway through September, all the way until November 3rd is Halloween. Because Halloween is the night before All Souls Day, then it's All Saints Day on the 1st, and there's something else on the 2nd. I forgot which one it is, but.
Okay, that's fair.
So hopefully, I'm thinking of doing another one of these for the rest of you, like I said, in August before the September movies come out, and then have your brother on for a big Halloween episode in October.
Yeah.
Because he's a horror fanatic.
Yeah. But
I made the mistake of calling his mom when he was 3, saying, I'm watching this kid. It's Halloween. I do not want to do Scary Godmother anymore because of this one. So can I show him Poltergeist? She's like, fine. And then we watched that trilogy over and over again for 2 years. And I'm like, I can't. Told your mom, said, I can't take this anymore. Can I show him? Oh, it's another. What's that one? With the further, the one with the further.
I
So
know you were talking about.
Insidious.
Oh, that, yeah.
So I was like, 'cause the first Insidious, it's fine. I'm like, can I show him Insidious? She goes, yeah, that one's fine. So I showed him Insidious, and then ever since then, horror. He's now.
Yeah.
He's gonna be 14.
Yeah.
And he's well versed in horror movies.
Yep, exactly. But, yeah, thank you everyone for watching today's video. Again, if you haven't already, be sure to go down there, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Also, hit that like. It will really help us boost into the YouTube algorithm, okay?
And and with that.